Everything.
Going. Yeah. Why?
So we get a so we're here. What's that? 22 minutes, so.
Yeah, that's good.
Engagement.
Yeah. Got minutes.
You know, the other.
Yeah.
Really busy.
Did you find today?
They're pretty fully stuffed, but we just got, this huge state budget. It's like a something that's launched. Hello,
Yeah.
so we're trying to.
Not enough teachers.
My daughter's on a vacation.
We're trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have to find it.
I just been doing a bunch of grants for some DOJ work.
Yes, it's not.
You know, how we're paying.
Oh my gosh, and then the reporting, and then the requirements.
I had a very different.
Oh, really? Yeah.
You missed one for.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be on the grant review committee for the state for like. Responder grant type stuff for the federal.
Do them now.
So when you get these big
Yeah.
applications, so everybody that want money for it.
So eight. 851.
Yeah,
Divided by.
and you gotta equal money.
You have a floor plan?
I kind of.
It should be 28 divided by.
Chief of your.
So we need to, that it looks like it's it'd be one family.
Well, I don't even see it.
But the only thing I can say is it's one. If you're on file, I should ask.
Afterwards, yeah, it's like a cost.
If you're on file.
I think you can do this.
They're more than that.
Tonight, I spoke to her and I suggested that we're going to probably have to continue this for.
Yeah, see.
I know.
Your grant, I couldn't pay the whole thing, year one, year two.
Oh, well,
There we go.
You off.
there you go, Betsy.
Oh, dive in.
You see.
Where?
I thought there was an answer.
No, I went to work. Which one?
Bunch of tones.
Oh, what?
There's a feeling.
Yeah, you did.
I know. Right, exactly.
How old are you?
Right.
Good deal.
It's a buffer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, go.
I thought you guys are good for running and push up.
That's.
They must have put you in charge of, change.
Oh, yeah. In sounds of the.
I can be punctual.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, that's. That's. Yeah, they're all.
Yeah.
He turned it to ring court.
Yeah, I remember that. Just go do because of the ring.
Yeah, but he was kind of. But it was like. It's.
What is it still? You have a little, yeah, I mean, like still.
Yeah, so it was 2000. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
so when we're time.
Yeah.
Because of the turn.
That's what I did. I got off part time.
I go turn. So he look for the town, so you don't want to. Police fire.
It isn't.
You're letting it run.
Or there's an HO.
I would think.
That's it, but.
Okay, folks, 7:00. This is the Newfield Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for the 28th of May. Roll call will be a little bit different today. We start with Tom. All right, you, Umbrella. Bob Elliott,
Betsy Coos.
Cat Lawrence, Steve Yevich. Thank you. So we have this evening case number 25-05-28-01, Lara and Stephen Dubois, special exception for an accessory dwelling unit. So typically, I'll have the applicants go through the criteria for the special exception with their plan and express how they've met these 9, there's more than 9 points, but did you bring a copy?
I did not bring a copy. I actually passed mine in. I didn't know it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's start at number 1. So, proposed use must conform to the dimensional requirements of a single family lot and meet all the existing requirements. No structure shall be allowed within 20 feet of side and rear boundary line, 25 feet of front boundary. Height cannot exceed 35 feet, lot coverage cannot exceed 25%. So we're not asking to build out past our existing dwelling, just build. The only thing that would be out would be an outside enclosed staircase.
And it's not building up, it's just finishing off the space.
Yeah, it's already built. It's just finished.
Yeah, it's got all the power pulled up already and everything.
It says occupancy of the ADU shall comply with the standards for maximum occupancy per bedroom. So 2 people per bedroom, it would never be for more than 2 people up there. It's not a very large space. And we're planning to use it currently for my brother who lives with us right now. So we're looking to finish it off so that he can have his own space. The accessory apartment shall be designed so the appearance of the building remains of a one-family dwelling, which it still would. There shall be one egress into the primary living area from the accessory apartment. Any new entrances shall be located on the side or rear of the building. So we're proposing that the staircase would be built along, actually, we have a picture of the back of the house. Along the back of the house and then enter into our garage, which then enters into our one.
Yeah. Are you finished? This is, I'm going to circle is the window and the landing down here. So it would incorporate the door that goes into the.
This lower door, Steve, if I may, you want to look at this? You want me-
You go right ahead.
Okay. Steve, this door right here goes into the back of your garage now or your home?
Yeah, it goes into the
Back of the
garage
right.
and then there's a door along, it's like an invisible wall that goes
Right.
into the main residence.
Okay. Right. And then, and then this is going to be a door.
Yeah, so stairwell, landing.
Stairwell to the door. That'll be his private entrance.
Yep.
Okay.
And there would be like a little mudroom at the bottom where you could either go left into our house. Straight up the stairs.
And there's
Right.
access to the main dwelling internally.
area.
Is access internally to the primary living area?
Yeah, so when you go into the door of the garage, you would just take a right and you go right to our house through into the mudroom.
So it goes directly to the garage. The unit would be up the stairs right inside that door. We go,
It would be
No.
inside the door. It would be like an enclosed staircase right outside, like right above the house. Need to keep going or are we stopping here for a minute?
well, yeah, I'm not convinced that this fits the letter of the regulation for there shall be one egress to the primary living area from the accessory apartment. In many cases, this has been a little bit of a stumbling block, and the applicants have addressed that by making a heated area where the door enters, making it into the primary living area and not garage space.
Because it needs, why does it need to be enclosed space if there's like,
It needs to be part of the primary living area.
the garage doesn't count as.
No, it doesn't. And it's partially the way it's taxed. But the bigger thing here is that the town of Newfields doesn't have, we don't do duplexes. So we do accessory dwelling units. And that is one of the differences. It's kind of like the primary, the biggest, that it's the place where this becomes allowable.
If there was a, where that door that goes into the garage, that was a finished hallway that led into the house.
Yep, heated.
The part would be open to the main.
There you go.
Does that count?
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, we can do that.
I mean,
I mean, I guess it seems like
Getting into the house.
these things are met. This meeting becomes very short.
so.
If one of those things is not met,
Yeah.
then I kind of encourage the applicant to ask for a continuance, because if we vote on it, you haven't met those things.
Okay.
And it's just.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we had a kind of an alternate plan because I had spoken with you.
Okay,
You had said that might not be something that worked.
wonderful.
So, would it work if we made that outside staircase just like wide enough to be like a staircase and a hallway? And the hallway came down and went into our laundry room. Like it was all one enclosed. So rather than build it out into our garage, could we just make the stairway a little wider and have the entrance go into our laundry room, which is part of our house and heated and open to our.
Is the stairway, if you will, primary living space in the accessory dwelling unit? Or is it like an outside stairway?
I mean, it's gonna be covered and have a mudroom and probably a landing at the top. It will be covered. It will be part of the apartment.
Here's the, what it has to meet is 414.413. The accessory apartment shall be designed so that the appearance of the building remains that of a one-family dwelling. And this is the part that matters. There shall be one egress to the primary living area from the accessory apartment. Any new entrances shall be located on the side or the rear of the building.
Okay. So you're saying coming into the garage unheated and unfinished doesn't count because it's not directly into my legs.
I'm not sure what I think about this, like, if you will, an outside stairway. Because that's maybe enclosed, but it's not really living space of the accessory dwelling unit. The accessory dwelling unit must go straight into the primary living.
This is based on the state law that defines the unlocked connecting door. It addresses that. The door doesn't have to be kept unlocked. And that could come into play because if you want to lock that door downstairs, nobody gets into your house. But an interior door shall be provided between the principal dwelling unit and the accessory dwelling unit. But we cannot require that it remain unlocked or locked. So it's up to you what you do with it. But it has to be an interior door. So how do we satisfy that so that the door between the two units,
Living space to living space.
living space to living space?
Yeah,
So does it count as interior if it's part of the stairwell or no?
But what is not addressed is that if it is a matter of, it's your brother, right? Your brother coming down the stairs and then to go into your main house.
Right, which he could do if we did it that way, or if we did it through the garage. It would just, he'd have to walk across 5 feet of or 10 feet of unfinished garage. So that would be the,
That's where we have the question.
The 5 feet, doesn't matter if it's 10 inches
Right.
of unfinished garage.
okay, so
Can you achieve that?
we either need to finish inside the garage to make a hallway.
Yep.
That's also enclosed and that's connected to the outside, because the problem is we have a staircase currently that goes into our mudroom, but it comes up directly into like the center of the space, so it would
Yes.
get
Right.
space unusable.
Right?
We wanted to eliminate that, so we were just trying to, we didn't realize it to be into the living space, we thought the garage. Not them. Not,
You're gonna go over that. Get rid of that.
we just make it there.
Did, among board members, this outside stairs from the accessory dwelling unit down to the back of the garage. Does anybody have a problem with those stairs being like not part of the ADU living area?
I don't think it should be.
But does that give a problem to the door from the living area of the ADU to the primary dwelling unit? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
Yeah.
If the suggestion was to enclose that staircase. And then he could come out of his door upstairs, come
Then
down
make
the stairs, go right into your mudroom, into your,
and then a hallway mudroom slash
It would
heated area.
But yes,
right,
I'm from the back of my garage, the back of the garage, we would just lose like however many spaces, however many feet of staircases would get enclosed in the back of the garage.
go in through, he would go in through that door,
Yeah.
And then that would be finished for
finish, take an immediate right,
for the house.
and you go right into your mudroom is right here, the other side of the
And that would be the laundry room on that side.
laundry room.
We would still have to have an outside staircase for him to access.
Right, but I think what we're getting at is that outside staircase, is we're thinking of it being enclosed first.
We were planning on maybe
So
Finished.
things, could it? So you're saying it needs to be inside the garage closed space because that's more part of my dwelling? What if we made just like a wider staircase outside and the hallway behind the staircase went to the laundry room?
I think it's, the difference between interior, exterior. So just putting this as exterior.
Yeah,
So because it's not part of the existing dwelling. So, okay, so the entrance to our house would have to be within the existing dwelling. Okay.
You'd be adding more square footage to the total unit,
the other thing too,
which would be in your favor because it stays below the threshold.
Possible for the stairs to be inside the garage to this mudroom hallway and go on up to the living space? Then I could understand that as being all living space and direct entry.
Right, that's, if you saw the picture of where this current staircase goes up.
I do see this picture.
yeah.
That is essentially where that staircase comes now down into our mudroom.
Into the mudroom,
It would actually.
into the garage area, into your house.
That existing staircase goes into the current mudroom.
But if we keep that staircase, it totally ruins the,
floor plan.
like, it would not be worth doing because there would be no space for kitchen or bathroom. Because it comes up like right in the middle at every awkward spot.
That's where all that plumbing is.
So that's where we're trying to figure out the other. I mean, we can do that in the garage if that's what's needed to be done.
That makes any sense. And although I don't particularly like the idea of an outside covered, it just,
Yeah, I have a,
That's what, I mean,
No problem.
safety-wise, it just seems a little. I mean, you can do it. I don't know what the building code is. So, yeah, but that's
Moving-
not.
moving these interior stairs to another place in here? Would that be, would that,
it would be super tricky the way that it's laid out. You're saying you don't like the idea of the staircase on the outside?
I do have some problem with that.
Because it says that there just has to be, that if there is a new entrance, it just has to be on the outside or the side of that.
Well, in a sense, in my mind, a person would be leaving the accessory apartment, going to outside stairs, maybe enclosed, yes. Downstairs into the proposed mudroom area. Person is kind of going outside living spaces to get back into primary living area.
Well, not if we close.
Which is a little askew from the easiest reading of this.
But if it's closed and heated,
Yeah.
it's really an inside staircase, even though it's being converted to interior.
Fully like interior, like it would be connected completely and have a roof and be like very enclosed. It wouldn't look like just a staircase on the outside of the building. Like, I was thinking it would be all finished and look like part of the house.
Right.
Not that it would just be.
Could you put I don't know what's on the other side of the door that connects your garage to your main house? Would a door ever go there? For example, if he needed to exit his living area to go into your second floor?
I see what you're saying. It's, our second floor, it's, because we have high ceilings in our kitchen area. It's a section of the house that is, not traversable, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Just thinking of other ways.
Unless,
Yeah.
Well, does it-
We're trying to be creative.
does it, let me ask you this, does it have to be, is there a requirements to that? Does it have to be like a full like spec door or can it be like a half a door? Because I could probably do a half door that goes into Sam's room.
Half a door. You mean like 3 feet tall?
Little trap door.
Entrance to the main building. And that's it.
So it says one egress, right? So the building inspector, Larry, would say that's not an egress or that is an egress, because certain windows aren't, you know, you have to have a window egress.
Right.
But the window has to be a certain size. It's not like, well, I have
No, I get that. Yeah, I mean, it's the piece I'm thinking of is that above the kitchen, like I said, it's high ceilings. But there still is
Like a loft space.
like a loft space that's like 5 feet high.
Yeah, so I mean, check with the building inspector in terms of what determines the size to meet egress.
Egress.
If we accomplish the size to meet egress to the
And that-
main living facility, that would,
That would meet this requirement.
would you call it again, then the
Egress.
egress?
Egress.
There should be one egress to the primary living area from the accessory apartment.
Egress size requirements.
And then, you know, you can have other entrances and they got to be located either on the side or the rear. They just can't be on the front of the building.
Okay. So, yeah,
If there were a bump out on the back of the house that came across here and down, and the stair were to be enclosed within that, it would certainly,
Like this.
if you had a wall here and had a wall here coming across here, and so that it didn't have the diagonal look of just a stairway on the outside.
So you're talking about an addition?
well,
Yeah, that's would be preferable to me as to having that not be like an outside stairway.
well, but it would be enclosed and then there would be like a little landing at the top here. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't, I don't know that it would look like, if you walked up to it, it would look like a stairway. That's not what I'm envisioning it not to look like a stairway. Like, I don't really want it to look like a stairway outside my house.
Yeah.
But and I mean.
Yeah.
Building. Wouldn't just like throw it up on the side. Okay, do you want me to keep going down the list to make sure we meet everything else? And then we can, or do we still revisit? it?
Yes.
Okay. So the size shall not exceed the living area. We only have 2,000 square feet in our finished space currently, so even with the staircase, it wouldn't be more than a third of the. At least one of the units would be owner occupied, which we will live there. This also, if my brother wasn't living there, could be for my children or my parents, so it could serve lots of purposes for us. We wouldn't even have a bedroom. We were just making it an open loft kind of space. So that meets the bedrooms. Off-street paved or gravel parking. We definitely have space for 4 vehicles. We frequently have lots of vehicles in our driveway. I think I drew that on one of the plans for Sue. Sue had asked me to do that. The structure and lot shall not be converted to a condominium or any form of legal ownership distinct from the ownership of the existing family dwelling. We would not like to do that. The septic system evidence we have. It was built when we built the house for a 3, 2, 4 bedroom, and we only have 3 bedrooms currently, and we only have the 2 of us and my brother living with us currently. And then the floor plan, you have a sketch plan we provided, and then evidence that all the building requirements can be met. And I think Larry signed off on this, but I could be wrong. Oh, and then the proof of the adequate potable water. I actually provided like a well thing in there, and we also let our hose run for 2 hours without any difficulty. So I guess it all comes down to the egress situation.
Is there a owners association?
There was, when we first moved in, we have not had any of it in probably 10 years.
That doesn't necessarily mean there isn't. It could be inactive. And, you know, one of the things you might want to check on is, do they, in their covenants, do they prohibit any additional?
The Keenans, Tim Keenan is saying.
The thing that may do is in the deed, it may have, if you will, deed restrictions, but in the event of the homeowners association has not formed or been active for a certain number of years, in some cases, poof, they go away.
That's what I assumed happened to our.
Well,
I don't know for sure, but.
I would prefer not to assume, although the town, this board deals with this regulation, not your homeowner regulation.
Right.
We have had a case where the homeowners association had regulations that gave the applicant big problems, and we weren't a big problem. They had all this down this list, just spot on. But that'd be a good idea to check, because you don't want to start that discussion.
After.
Yeah, for your own benefit.
We're really close friends with them, so I can just call and find out if it's still even a thing. Or not.
Yeah, you don't want to rip it out after.
Story. Okay, so if we change our plan to make the egress go as covered living space, like finished living space into our laundry room from our garage. Count as an egress, because it would have a full-size door.
Laundry room, not common space.
This common, I mean, it's living space.
It's
Livable space.
but
Yeah.
I think it qualifies as primary living space.
Yeah.
It's not like the cement floor garage. For tax purposes, I believe that laundry area is primary living space.
It's finished, it's heated, it's all the things that you're saying.
Now, I speak for myself here. I would feel a lot more comfortable seeing the revised plan before I vote positively on this.
I mean, can I sketch it into our plan that we have right there?
Well, don't you have to answer the question of whether or not that, or did you answer that a covered, finished, atmospherically separated from the outside stairwell that also not only leads to the outside, but leads to our living space would be fine?
Um, yeah,
I mean, I would.
that's where I don't know the vote of the other board members. I'm not real fond of that.
You know, it's kind of simple. This is a pretty simple case. And you have to meet 414, 413, and in particular, there will be one egress to the primary living area from the accessory apartment. Now, how you figure that out? It's
Necessarily.
not our,
It looks like really. as long as-
Clarify,
As long as it's finished, not open to garage.
it is from primary living area of the ADU to primary living area of the primary residence, the main residence.
Well, a staircase is a primary living area, isn't it? Because if it would have a mudroom at the bottom, it would have a landing at the top, and then there would be a hallway.
as long,
Storage under the stairs and then go into my loft.
as long as it's interior and not exterior.
100% it would be interior.
So do you want to have it continued?
I mean, I would love it if we passed it tonight. But if we can't do that, we can't do that. I mean, I'm happy to,
Yeah, we can't.
we can't, or we
I
can't.
mean, we can continue, but you know, it's
But
probably going to get rejected and then you have to file an appeal and, you know, you have to jump through a lot more hoops. Whereas if it's continued, you
Come
get,
in with a clean plan.
right, you get all your,
But you don't meet again for another month, correct?
That's correct.
And would there be a way that we could submit another plan and you could just sign off on that part since you've already heard everything else? It's just been really stressful having my brother living in my home with me, and I'm trying to be a good sister and family member and provide a home for him, but it's not easy having that situation. So if there's any possible way to make it happen on the sooner side with whatever we need to do to make that happen, that would be super appreciated. If not, obviously we have to do what you tell us, but I'm also happy to draw on anything that we have there. Existing.
Possibility to have a meeting outside of the once a month.
Yeah,
It is possible.
sure. Becomes a continuance and we set the date tonight.
Yeah. That would compromise 2 weeks rather than 4.
We're still going to meet in 4 weeks. If
Yeah, no, that's I'm not, but I mean, there's no reason why.
I mean, I literally could have a builder draw it up like tomorrow. I have someone like right in my back pocket ready to go, so it wouldn't be a problem to do that.
So it doesn't need to be noticed the same way. So.
Right. It's part of the meeting minutes from this meeting, part of the entertainment people across the town have been having this evening with this
They're
meeting.
still awake.
Have we put them asleep? Are you suggesting that?
Easy. Continues.
I mean, I guess like, if I'm just, could I just like sketch on your sketch that you have there and put the plan where the doors are? Like, I guess I don't understand how making it
No.
continuance makes it.
The concept here, the plan that you present to us is something that the building inspector has reviewed and is able to sign off for it, that you can meet compliances that the building office has. We certainly won't do anything to circumvent that process. You may have in the paperwork that I gave you, if there is a letter from Larry, did anybody see one? Okay, that sometimes doesn't happen. We tried to make it clearer that what he's signing for, that does have to be in the file.
There is, oh, Larry, yeah, this approval of.
Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Dwelling unit.
He did put it in there.
Told me they signed off on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I
You have that.
think I heard that and didn't see it.
That meets, this,
Full plan meets, as you're saying.
All right, among board members, June 11th. Does anybody have,
Well, that's quick.
that's good.
That's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Good for me.
Yes.
Yes, that's it. Steve?
yes, we can,
Yeah, what's up?
we can offer the option, should you wish to continue it to the 11th of June.
That's kind of a compromise.
Thank you.
This is your request?
Yep. Can you tell us what exactly or how detailed the plans need to be so that when we come back, we can make.
Extremely detailed, right down to the dirt pile, nails, finger on the scale.
I mean, like that one showing where it all goes.
It needs to show all the dimensions and be drawn to scale. I don't know how good you are,
Okay,
but that's what Larry would be looking for. And it's probably easier to have your builder contractor do it. And he'd be able to put in. You'd have a hard time doing a landing on the bottom, a landing on the top, and
So, yeah, just understand that your accessory dwelling unit connects the primary living space to primary living space of the main residence. And, you know, lines on a picture. No, I mean, we need to see something that says we understand exactly what they're doing, and it's not kind of like that.
I mean, you can understand it's because it becomes the record, right? And it's not our conversation, right? So it becomes a record, and 10 years from now, when we're all somewhere else, someone has to go to that file and say, did they ever get this ADU approved? Like, what's the story here? What's this building, right? So it's got to all get properly documented and become part of the record.
okay, so more than what we did with that preliminary sketch that we, okay,
Yes, please.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
in 10 years? Maybe not up there.
And on having your hearing and your eyesight in 10 years? I'm hoping to. I'm realizing there are some
I don't-
individuals that are demonstrating to me that not everybody succeeds in that. All right. I'll make a motion that we accept the requested continuance to June 11th at 7 PM at the Newfields Town Hall.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Thank
Thank you so much for explaining.
Where's the? Wait,
It's not-
I think that was just.
industrial thing. I'm looking at it and going, oh, this is industrial.
It's him?